Welcome, Go High Levelers. My name is Dinah from WhatSnap, and today we're going to be talking about the psychology of ghosting and why your leads are not responding to your SMS outreach campaigns. I broke this down into 3 simple laws to follow so that your campaigns don't pay the price. You probably don't know this, but in your sales journey, you have a micro close that's happening that you don't even know about. Now, this micro close is actually happening as soon as the lead is deciding if they want to actually have a conversation with you. This means that they're going to look for certain clues and indicators that you're not spamming them. This is what makes the difference between a company making 10K MRR or 100K MRR, and this makes a huge difference in your top line sales. For business owners, SMS campaigns are oftentimes the first point of communication and connection with your prospects and your leads. And it's what makes the biggest difference on deciding if they want to actually book a meeting with you. Now, typically, this is what I call the point of failure in most companies, because it's when they first decide if you look like a person on the other side or just a spammy automation that they want to filter out and eventually go ghost on. So today we're going to find out about the 3 laws of conversation conversion to make your rejections go away completely, to make this conversation more intimate and more hyper-humanized and make people instantly want to connect because you're building rapport. Now, these 3 laws of conversion for conversations aren't just based on theory, rhetoric, or opinions. These are actual psychological facts and data and research and studies that they've done based on why people respond and why people don't, why people engage in a conversation, or why they completely dismiss your message as spam or solicitation, and sometimes even ask you to stop or opt out. So let's dive right in, guys. So time to discover why your leads are ghosting you. And as a quick hint, it's not your ad manager, it's not your creative team, it's not your GPT prompts for ad copy. Well, okay, maybe it's your ad copy. Okay, so the first law is that first impressions ultimately matter the most. It's like when you meet somebody for the first time and their perception of you is going to be defined for the very first time. It's the same at the first point of connection with your leads. They're going to analyze your funnel, your automation, how you text them, what you say, how you say it, the way you say it. Everything is being analyzed subconsciously. They're looking at what you're writing and how you're writing it. So as we know, all text messages are simply not created equal. According to a study in the University of Chicago, it revealed that basically the utility of message color revealed a lot to end users. In fact, research shows that green bubbles, SMS, are less desirable and show a lower social status. Now, as you can see here in this example, we show the difference, a screenshot that we took from a message of somebody texting on green bubble versus blue bubble. And obviously, you kind of know when you say opt out to a lead, most likely they're going to probably opt out. The messages on green bubble are perceived as less desirable and a lower social status compared to a blue iMessage, even affecting sentiment and engagement. In the study, 90% of the respondents believed that green bubbles were basically stigmatized, and Android users often associate them with lower social status and attractiveness. Android users, 79% of them said that they would want, hypothetically, a software that would change their green bubble to a blue bubble, so that they could make all their messages appear as if they were coming from an iPhone. And another fact is that most respondents believe that removing the green bubbles would improve the perceived quality of the Android while leaving perception of iPhones largely unchanged. Now, this was a Chicago study at the University of Chicago done a few years back, and it really delineated the difference when people see a green message come up on their phone, because especially most of the smishing, it's message phishing, happens when they're on a green SMS Android line. And so there's just a subconscious fear when a message is coming in from a different number that is unknown, that just automatically sets their spammy filters. There's just something subconscious that happens when people see these messages come in that automatically triggers them to be apprehensive and less responsive and open. So let's go to the next slide here, guys. So as I said, not all text messages are created equal. On average, our clients see somewhere between a 50 to 80% increase in conversion in responses and in conversations that ultimately affect their bottom line, especially when it comes to how many leads that they get through the door that actually end up booking with them. Now, as you can see here, for example, when you're using A2P, opt-out language on your messages, you can respond even from SMS campaigns to actual ad campaigns of leads that you've paid for, somewhere between a 12 and 18% response rate on average. When utilizing WhatSnap or a P2P infrastructure, you're able to see that increase go up to 45 to 60% on average. And as you can see, these messages look distinctly different, especially when they're coming in from a new number on your device. So as we know, perception drives response. When people see that you are an automation, they treat you as an automation. When people see that you're a spammer or you look like one, people will ultimately treat you like you're spamming them. They will ignore you, they will block you, or they will unsubscribe to your campaign. So the bubble actually does matter, and especially the way it feels. It's what ultimately drives people to want to engage with you. Number 2, perfect segue, follow the rules of engagement. And if you don't know them, it's time to learn. When leads are seeing a huge wall of text in front of them, it makes it super unattractive for them to want to respond back to you. When people see that it's an automation, they obviously will ignore you because they don't want to be spammed or be put into a funnel for 30 days of messages and follow-ups and personalized messages. When they see that they're getting messages from an iPhone device, they don't feel like they're opting into a funnel or a sales automation system where they're going to be solicited and spammed for 30 days. It feels like a person. It feels simple. It feels engaging. And it feels like you took the time to personally message them, which the sophisticated user these days wants that undivided attention. They don't want to feel like they're just another number. They want to feel special. And so even if businesses know that it's completely impossible, or people know it's impossible for you to actually individually message each person and have a conversation with each one, they still want to feel that way. On average, we see not only just a higher response rate, but a higher read rate, meaning messages are actually going through, messages are actually getting read the end user. And the 3 most important parts of this in the decision-making process to engage in conversation are 3 things: the tone, the relevance, and the intentionality. So it's not just about the color, because you could obviously go to Blue Bubble and you can still have messages that don't seem like it's adding value for them. So it's about feeling personalized, about feeling personable, but also about being able to make it about the person on the other side, not just about what you do. Making it about the user and how you can add value to them completely shifts the conversation and makes them want to learn more. And finally, law number 3, no wham, bam, thank you, spam. Now, I know as trite as that sounds, it really is true. Ultimately, people don't want to feel like they're getting spammed, and we mentioned this before in law number 1. But ultimately, when you are using opt-out language, using A2P, this automatically triggers people's subconscious fear of being in a spam trap. So when you use the opt-out language and we're able to take this off of all your messages, it makes an enormous difference. People on average see a 96% annoyance rate when it comes to being stuck in a funnel with A2P. When they see subscription messaging, when they feel like they're getting a message every 24 hours or every day, or maybe more than one time a day, the frequency, the length, and the irrelevance of the message just completely turns them off. And it'll go from making somebody a potential fan to being somebody that really is just annoyed with you and doesn't want to even participate in a conversation. So the best thing you can do is make sure that when you are putting them into your automation series or adding them into a campaign, that it's something that makes sense. The frequency just isn't too inundating, and that it makes the user actually want to engage. The conversation is something that makes it feel personalized, right? Making it more about driving and steering the direction of value. So these are the 3 pillars of an SMS outreach campaign, guys. These are super important to understand because I want to now help you fix these problems. And how do you fix them? Well, let's dive in here. First of all, let's move you from A2P to P2P. Now, this is where the magic happens because we can now change the psychology and the perception of your messages every single message being sent to your new leads, from thinking you're just spamming them to thinking that they're talking to a person on the other side. This is the real psychological flip, right? We want to get their guard down so that they're open to hearing about your offer and they're open to hearing about what you have to give them. This is ultimately why they came into your funnel in the first place. But as soon as you message them, they backed away because you seemed like you were spamming them. So we want to solve that issue. We also want to make things feel natural. We want to give them the feeling that they're actually speaking to a person by breaking down big chunks and bricks of messages into small consumable bites, one at a time. Because if you think about how you're texting your friends and family, it's never going to be a long break message. It's going to be simple, small messages, point by point. And that's how we like to really keep our messages when we are doing any type of automation with our users or helping you with your automation campaigns, is we like to really have this philosophy of smart infrastructure, intelligent messaging, where it seems like it's a human and people will respond like you are a human with the appropriate cadence of messaging, which is messaging you back, right? And what we love to do is add rich media, because ultimately it's amazing when you can get a video or a voice note directly to a lead. They feel like you took the time to take before a meeting to send them a personalized message, welcoming them or warming them up or reminding them to join your meeting. This makes a huge difference, and on average, we see a 30 to 40% increase in show rates just by adding these beautiful messages, these voice notes, these videos. And in the future, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more available on a high level where we can even connect 11 labs and do personalized voice notes on autopilot to these leads, so they feel like even more of that hyper personalized experience. And ultimately, these will get your conversations optimized. And if you get more conversations happening, you get more bookings, and more bookings means more bottom line cash for your business. When you change the perception, you change your revenue. And that's really what we want to strive for in 2026, how to make all of your leaky areas of your funnel closed up and working optimally with a smart, optimized system. No more relying on A2P to distract your leads, to make your leads ghost you, and ultimately cost your company valuable deals that otherwise would have turned into raving fans for your brand. We want a way to create your own infrastructure so that your leads go from cold all the way to on a meeting and converting to a close, so that you can take your lead to the finish line. So I hope these 3 laws helped you navigate through your campaigns for 2026